button and just let the magic work.
The magic always just happens.
Mhm.
So hello everybody, welcome to the Boss Rush Gamecast, your bi-weekly gameplay discussion podcast. I am actually not Pat. I don't know if I am one of the hosts. I think this is Pat's thing. But Pat,
And you just took over.
Yeah, I just took over. That's just as I always do. I had to feed his cat this weekend, and his cat Zelda is very staticky. Very staticky. I don't know why. Because like every time I would like reach down and pet the cat, like I would get shocked, and he'd be like, she'd be like, "What the fuck, man?" And I'm like, "Sorry, you shocking me. I'm not doing it."
Oh, maybe she's an electric type. Odd.
Yeah, I don't know. What's an electric Pokemon?
Like Pikachu?
Pikachu's an electric Pokemon? I don't know.
Stoy.
I don't know. I don't know. I fully admit I'm not a Pokemon fan.
But you don't have to be a Pokemon fan to not know that Pikachu is an electric type. It has a lightning bolt for a tail.
I thought Pikachu was just like a kind of like a jack of all trades kind of Pokemon. Like he could just do everything.
Oh, Stoy. Anyway,
how
is Zelda?
Here's my gamer card right here. You can take it. So, Zelda's good. I think Zelda just like kind of just like, hey man, what's up? Like, check out all these boxes that I play with. You see Pat's chair? Like, I can make it spin in circles. Hey man, like, stop looking at his DS collection. Hey man, stop stealing all his games. Hey man, where are you going? Put those games back. I didn't steal any of Pat's games.
If cats could only talk.
Yeah, no kidding. She probably would have been like, hey man, like you can take all his stuff if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, she'd be like, you know what? Please do, because then he'll pay more attention to me. Just kidding.
He did. I did see this. He's always said that he had this, and this is kind of a tie-in to the podcast that we're gonna have today. Is he's got a sealed copy of Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the PlayStation 2.
Holy moly!
It's sealed, never opened. So original seal on it, and I actually saw it this time around. I was like, oh my god, it's right there.
It's real.
It's right there. Oh my god!
Wow, that's an impressive item to behold.
Yes, yeah, for
sealed.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, and Silent Hill games are going up in price. It's really kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, of course they are.
I love and hate when they like remake games, because it's like then that just drives up the prices of all this retro stuff.
Yeah,
I hate it. Anyway, I'm Stoy. You're Stephanie, right? Still?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I'm still Stephanie. Now you have me questioning myself. Who am I?
I don't know. You want to take a minute?
No.
Collect yourself, collect your thoughts or something?
We don't want to go down that road. But actually, yeah, both of us, neither of us are hosts, but we have single-handedly dethroned Pat. Just kidding. Yep. He's on vacation somewhere fun.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I think he hiked.
Where is he? Like Scotland or something?
No, he's in Denver. He's visiting Taylor, actually. And Taylor's a very outdoorsy type of person. And I asked Pat, I was like, so what are you going to do out in Denver? And he's like, she's got a couple hikes she wants me to go on. I'm like, you hiking?
Dear Lord, he's going to have bloody stumps of a feet by the time we get to PAX.
Yeah, I know, no kidding. He's not going to want to walk when he uses that PAX.
Sorry, we love you, Pat. I hope you have a blast.
Yeah, no kidding. I hope you did too. All right, and there's nothing better than talking about someone behind their back when they can't, defend themselves.
Exactly. That's the way. That is the way.
No, we were talking before recording. I don't know how you are with managing people. Like, do you like? I mean, not really personal territory, but like you're a pharmacist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you manage a group of people, or do you just kind of do your own thing? Or
I used to have a manager role back when I did retail. I got, oh my gosh, my cats are going crazy. I got promoted.
You're managing cats.
I'm managing cats. I would rather manage cats than humans. Humans are terrible.
Yeah.
I became manager of a store. I even opened a store, and my answer is just yes, I have.
Okay. Managing people isn't easy.
It's not. And I learned the hard way because I am very conflict avoidant.
Okay.
I like taking the softer approach, and I learned very quickly that is not the best way to go if you're going to be a manager.
Yeah, I have I've learned in my role as like a charge. Like I'm not in charge. I'm just kind of running the ship, so to speak. I'm piloting the ship, so
Mhm.
I'm not making too terribly important decisions, on people's lives. But I find I have diarrhea of the mouth. I don't have that internal filter where that internal voice is like, you probably shouldn't say this out loud,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I just say it out loud, and then everyone looks at me like, oh, he's being sarcastic again. I'm like, sarcastic?
Oh, I feel your pain. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I talk more than I need to, and then if I get nervous, I talk even more. When you're in a more manager leadership role, showing restraint with your words is actually ideal.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, I mean, I don't work with a lot of younger people, but I want to say I think they're a little bit shocked when you come after them in a way. Um
Yeah.
and I know there's like not necessarily language you have to use, but you have to use like a nature versus or nurture versus nature approach where it's like, this is what it is. You either deal with it or get the fuck out of here. So, thankfully I don't work with a lot of like Gen Z, but man, I would hate to work with that group.
I was gonna say that's probably my worst. I would rather work with a bunch of boomers who don't know how to work a computer than deal with Gen Z. Just
Yeah.
they th listen, man, I'm sensitive. I thought I was sensitive. They can't really handle, constructive criticism very well.
Yeah, and even constructive criticism, it's like um the good bad good sandwich. It's like you have to like praise them first. It's like, so for starters, you're a great employee, you're really good at your job, but you also suck at all these five things, but you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Mhm, and all is to be done in, like, I'm not mocking the whole safe environment thing, like, I agree. It's just, like, when they use certain terms a little too much, like, "Do you feel safe?" Like, I don't know, I kinda tread that line there because 'cause I'm kind of an old school.
Yeah, I know. For me, I'd just rather like just tell me. Just tell
Yeah,
me. You
yeah,
know. And
exactly.
honestly, I've always learned better by getting yelled at and by mistakes. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna take that one on the chin. That one's on me.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna learn from it, and I only like to learn once. So
So, would you say like, what would be the age group of your team? Like, do you work with, like, a wide range, just less Gen Z,
yeah.
or is it
I,
okay.
I mean we have a interesting mix. We have a lot of my generation. I'm part of the Zennial crowd. I forget if I mentioned this. Like the Zennial crowd where it's like we're kind of in between Gen X and Gen Y,
Mhm.
where we grew up with a significant part of our lives, our youth, with like no internet, no cell phones, no nothing. We could actually sit and be bored.
Yep.
We didn't need like constant attention or constant interaction with things. Like
Mhm.
I could sit in a chair and not look at my cell phone for like 5 minutes. Um, but I also remember a time when it was like analog, where it was like to look up a person's phone number, you had to look in a phone book. If you were trying to go somewhere, you had to look at an actual paper map and everything.
You're
Whereas, like,
bringing back some memories, man.
yeah, no kidding. Buying physical games. So yeah, like, and then of course now I grew up, and you're around my same age, right? Not gonna ask.
Yeah. No, it's
So
okay.
like,
I'm gonna be 37 this year.
okay, yeah. So obviously you remember like growing up not having this stuff, and then all of a sudden when you're young, now it's like, hey, here's a cell phone. Hey, here's the internet. And it's like we have to learn all this stuff on the fly while also kind of teaching our parents at the same time.
Yes, it was like a bridge. I almost said bridge gap. It's a bridge because
Yeah.
when we just got the internet, but it was primitive internet. It was dial-up. You couldn't be on the
Yes.
phone, and you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And you had the flip phone, the BlackBerry. We didn't immediately have
Damn
smartphones like
BlackBerry. Yeah.
so like Gen Z, they just had the smartphone.
Hmm.
And then boomers had none of that. We're in the middle.
Yeah, and they were like the slow adopters. They were like, "I don't wanna do this," it's like trying to convince your grandpa. It's like, "Hey, man, you probably need an email," you know?
Yeah.
And obviously, probably a significant portion of boomers are like, "I just don't need that," you know?
Yeah, but I
So
don't I see kind of like, I don't know, probably the algorithm knows me now. It knows that I'm an old person that now gets into generational memes, but millennials are kinda like, we have to teach the boomers about technology, but in a sense, we also need to teach Gen Z about technology too.
Yeah, no kidding. And even like the things that, and I'm not knocking Gen Z, but the things that they have to go through with social media and the internet and stuff, it's not what we went through, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't as force fed. It wasn't an algorithm. We didn't know. I
Yeah.
didn't know what an algorithm was when I was a kid until now, where it's like social media is force feeding you content. Like it's kids got it a little bit rougher
It
nowadays,
is
you
it
know.
is tough. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
all unicorns and rainbows. I've also watched part it could be this could be applied to video games too,
Hmm.
but since I have a kid, I looked at um cartoons for kids at this age versus the cartoons we watched at
Hmm.
our age, and they're vastly different. Not just in quality of animation, but all like the young kids shows these days, there's like flashing lights and 1,000 sound. I got very overstimulated over a
Wow.
child's cartoon. I even showed it to my son because I kind of made him watch all the shows that I watched. He goes, "Too much is happening right now."
Yeah.
And I'll and game video games a little bit, I don't know, I just see people doing crazy stuff with Fortnite, and I would not think that my hand-eye coordination can keep up with that.
Yeah. I think we're too old for that. That's for sure.
Oh.
Anyway, when we're not having generational crises,
Oh.
we talk about video games on this podcast. So, uh, this is the Boss Rush Gamecast, the gameplay discussion and deep dive podcast from the Boss Rush Network. If you'd like to support the Boss Rush Gamecast and our family of podcasts, you can head over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network for as little as $1 a month. You can gain early access to our bi-weekly content like Expansion Pass and Boss Rush Gamecasts, video versions of spoiler casts and review discussions, get a Patreon producer shout out and more. Choose the tier that is right for you.
Very well
Uh, I,
done.
I I think the Nintendo Pow Block is um, going recording literally right now, and I always like to shove a really awkward question toward Eddie's way. I'm like, hey man, I want you to talk about what the heck Zelda's gonna be, what's gonna be happening with Zelda this year.
I love
Or
it.
I think I'd forced him to talk about why is Nintendo suing every emulator
Yeah,
developer, you know?
I love it.
Yeah. But if you can't support us financially, you can head over to the Boss Rush Network YouTube channel at youtube.com/Boss Rush Network and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video version of this episode, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. You can also help the podcast by leaving us a 5-star rating and a great review or a bad review. Bad press is good press sometimes. So
Sometimes.
we also have a pretty awesome website, bossrush.net still, right?
Yes, sir.
We have good writers on that website.
Yeah, great writers, great copy editors, a lot of
What
good
was
content.
Yeah, David Lasby running that ship.
Mhm.
What was the last thing you wrote for the website? Are
I
you having
might
a
have wrote
stroke? Are
a
you having a
sorry,
stroke?
I'm thinking,
I was like, "Oh
um,
no."
it was, it's not out yet, so I think my last one might have been my written interview with, Nick Apostolides as
Oh, don't
Leon.
go brag about it.
But I do have a how-to article on Pokemon Pokopia, just some tips and tricks on how to get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like give me 2 or give me 3 tips. Give me 3 tips
Okay.
from your article. Oh, you got to pull it up. You don't remember it?
No, it's just my cats. Minda, get off the sink. Sorry. I'm like, I need to find the lightest thing to throw at her. Um,
Not your laptop.
yeah. No. Go through the main storyline as quickly as you can and don't hyper focus on making the town look really fancy right away.
Okay.
Because if you progress through the main storyline, you're going to get even better tools that will make your design. Yeah, you're designing better. That's my number one thing. Number two, collect everything. Like just forage constantly because you're going to need it much later on. Which seems like common sense, but like I was stuck in the first biome and I see all these people, these crazy people. Same thing with like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. They were making these crazy things. They were recreating towns from like the original Pokemon game, like an exact
Yeah.
replica. I'm like, what the heck? And here I am just like making a awkward patch of like half brick, half grass. I'm making a bridge out of sand.
I felt that same way with Tears of the Kingdom. I was like, I put a rock on a stick. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And these people
Yeah.
are building like actual literal tanks, and I'm like, wow. I put a rocket engine on a piece of wood. That's cool. I don't know.
So those are a couple tips and tricks, but yeah, I've been a little behind writing stuff, but we have a lot of content from our other writers. We have reviews, editorials, our daily banters.
Hmm.
David Lasby recently finished Requiem, and he texted me. He loves it. He wrote a banter about how the Alien franchise could be in the structure of Requiems. He somehow tied those two together.
Wow, that's
So
I mean, yeah, he's a big alien guy, so I would totally um see him linking those two together.
yeah.
It's interesting. So I miss playing Alien Extraction with him. I
Mm-hmm.
think no, it was Fire Team Elite.
Fire Team
Fire
Elite.
Team Elite. Yeah, I've never seen that man so dialed in. He is
Oh
so
yeah.
locked in playing that game. Like it's just like, wow, this guy, like he's leading the pack. He's like,
Yes. I
Team
played a
A, I
few.
need you to focus on like path A here. I've outlined it. I've added the marker on your map here as well. And then I need you guys to set up a quarantine zone right here and a cordon here because all the enemies are gonna flood through here. And I'm like sitting there like, man, this guy knows his shit.
That was a very excellent recreation because that was my experience when I played a few missions with him with Fire Team Elite. It was
I
awesome.
never spoke with David Lasby like that before. I was like, this man's giving me orders. What
It's
the
like,
hell?
yes, sir.
Yeah, I was like, yes, sir, I will do whatever you say. Anyway, and he kind of laughs about it. He's like, come on, man. He's all humble about it. But I was like, no,
Oh.
man, I'm serious. So anyway, so what have you been playing lately?
I wish I had more of a variety. I didn't play it, but there's a anyway.
Well, you played a
I
lot of Pokemon Pokopia. I feel like that you should talk about that
it
because
I will, but I
yeah,
feel bad because it's kind of like given what we're going to talk about the rest of the podcast, I feel kind of like the lame person. Well, but what I'm saying is I downloaded Kana Bridge of Spirits because the sequel's about to come out in spring.
yeah,
So I downloaded it on my PS5. I got my PlayStation Portal ready, and I just ended up playing Pokopia the whole time. And I'm really mad at myself because I want to start Kana Bridge of Spirits because I want to play it before the sequel, and I haven't started it yet. But I'll start it this weekend.
I think years ago when we used to do the EXP Cast Awards, I think I she was the voice actress that did Kina or Kenna. I don't know. Did such a really good emotional
Really?
like voice, acting job with that in that game. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I ever beat it, but I was really drawn to the game and her as a character.
All right. Yeah, I really want to get started. Like I said, maybe I'll start this weekend. But yes, unfortunately, I was sucked into the vortex of Pokemon Pokopia. But for what it's worth, it's one of the higher rating Pokemon games. It's selling really well. It's actually become kind of the talk of the town in the Nintendo community as
Yeah.
the console seller. It's like the Switch 2 console seller, which is kind
Really?
of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which you wouldn't think so, but I mean, the Switch 2
I'm
hasn't had the most robust first year. They had a couple tentpole games, but eh,
I mean,
some.
for me, I think it would be Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like I was like
Mhm.
Mario Kart was cool, like, but Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think, really showed what the Switch 2 could do.
Yes. From a graphics standpoint, definitely Pocopia is not the right game to showcase a Switch 2, but maybe it's just by sheer popularity. I don't
Well,
know.
and it's exclusive.
It is exclusive, yes, I that's a big part of it, and it's, like, very memeable, like, I'm sure you've seen all over the internet that they will use, like, the Pokemon Pokopia text, and they'll write
Hmm.
something really silly,
Yeah.
or, unfortunately, the US government will write something, or I don't know who wrote something, but, Pokemon
Actually, this
Company
is completely unrelated, but you saw like because Nintendo will sue anybody. They sued the U.S. government.
I laughed, I chuckled, I'm like,
I did too.
"Alright."
I was like, Nintendo's going after any. They don't care who you are.
I I kinda like that, I'm like, "Good for
I did
you."
too. I was like, all right, I'm usually not your biggest defender, but here I am, your biggest defender.
Yeah, he's like, "You guys got some balls, I respect
Yeah,
that."
yeah, you get that tariff money, man. So
Mhm.
I
So,
mean,
yeah.
when you think about it, we all got lucky that we didn't have to pay more for it
Yeah,
for the Switch 2.
yeah. Yeah, so I definitely have respect for them on that. But yeah, Pokemon Pokopia, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people, if not all people who would listen to this know what this game is. It's kind of like it's basically a sim game where you play as a Ditto and you restore a habitat. Um, I'm not the biggest farming sim person. The last time I really got into it was like Harvest Moon 64 decades ago. It just
Mhm.
didn't become my so I didn't get into Animal Crossing or anything. But I did this because I kind of got bored of the regular Pokemon formula, so I decided to give this a shot. And I do like it because even though there are sim elements, that's not the primary focus. Like you're not spending the whole day farming and you need to use up a certain amount of energy, then you need to go to bed. Like it's not very strict. It's more
Okay.
about create these various habitats that you discover, and those habitats will attract Pokemon and bring Pokemon back into almost kind of like a post-apocalyptic environment.
I heard this is a pretty dark story, like all of humanity is dead or something?
S it is pretty dark, and that's what gripped me. I'm like, "Oh, beneath this cutesy, blocky, story, you will find logs of various human characters in the past," and they're talking about these it's basically environmental disasters where
Hmm.
it's not, humans are worried that they won't be able to sustain life on Earth, running out of food, running out of everything. What are they going to do? What are they going to do with the Pokemon? And I'll stop there as far as spoilers are concerned. But yeah, if you collect those notes, there is actually a pretty dark undertone to it, which I like. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's
great.
kinda
So it's not,
cool.
not just happy, happy, joy, joy, and you're not forced to. Like you are rewarded when you explore, right?
Mhm.
But again, so you're not like tied to like a strict farming sim element. You get Pokemon back. Um, the level of progression and detail and the things you can do is pretty impressive. It became addicting, and I was hooked. Obviously, the graphics like aren't the best. Everything's blocky like a Minecraft. Like, do you remember you played Pokemon Red or Blue back
Uh,
in the day at all?
no. I played, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, which I hear is almost like a recreation or
Kinda.
something or a remake.
I'm
I
sorry, I should have paid because I know this isn't kind of your franchise, but just to put into perspective, which I think will attract especially like my or our generation,
uh,
a lot of the landscape references the original Kanto region, like the
oh
first gen region.
oh,
So
okay.
it's nostalgia. Like the SS Anne was like a big ship that was very iconic in the first generation. And I'm pretty sure that's what I saw there. Didn't really look like a ship because it was made out of blocky material, but it was very cool.
Mm. Oh, that's cool.
And it's, cheerful, happy. All the Pokemon are so happy to see you. I'm like, man, I wish humans were this happy.
I know, no kidding.
Yeah.
I've
So
I've seen gameplay trailers of it, and it looks very intriguing because this is made from the same people that made, like, the Dragon Quest builders or something?
mhm, mhm,
Yeah, okay.
I believe so. Obviously, there are some portions of it where I'm kinda like, "Alright, this is really kiddie. I wanna kinda, like I need a bit more stimulation," but I would say
Mhm.
as a whole, I do think it's a very successful game. It's a lot of fun and a great break or palate cleanser if you are coming from a different genre. Like, I came to this after Requiem. It was
Yeah,
vastly different, but
yeah.
still enjoyable. So that's what I was playing.
Yeah. I was gonna say coming from Resident Evil Requiem to this must have been a hard pivot.
Really was.
Yeah. So, anything else you've been playing? I know we talked about you got a super cool laptop that can play big games on it, right?
More like send emails and go shopping on Amazon. Yeah, my gaming
That's enough.
laptop fell from the table because I was clumsy. The monitor doesn't work, but the computer works.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if I want to plug it into a monitor and set up a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard, technically could still make it work. But I'm
Yeah.
going to pack soon. I need an actual functioning laptop. I can't bring a big monitor with me. So that's why I needed to get a replacement. So,
Yeah, because you're gonna be interviewing people, right? And you probably gotta be throwing up articles on the fly there, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah, so you need something like that. But
exactly. But
it
yeah,
it is kinda crazy that we, like PC is the place for indie games. It really is. It's like
Mhm.
the easiest marketplace for like indie developers to get games out there.
Mm.
So, but it's funny that we pay like thousands of dollars for these high end PCs, but we're playing, I'm playing PS1 style graphic survival horror games. I'm like, wow, really pushing that hardware.
Yeah, they're amazing indies that, and this is one of the best places to get started if you're an indie developer.
Hmm.
And I would say a good 80% work well on my Steam Deck, but there are just a few that just maybe it's doable, but it's just not ideal. It's really preferable for some of these to use mouse and keyboard. Like
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
um so I don't know, Steam Machine or whatever you are. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Like they didn't officially release the price yet, right?
They still said this year.
That's
I thought they
insane.
narrowed it down to a quarter, like second quarter or something. I don't know, man.
We'll see.
I don't know, man. With the way things are going now, with freaking now SSD card drives are like going up in price, man. Ugh.
Mm, yeah, a lot of fluctuations in this industry, so who
Yeah.
knows?
Um, I read an interesting. I mean, this is all tech speak babble, but like obviously, like RAM prices and SSD cards, SSD drives are like really expensive because all these companies are buying all this RAM and storage space for this AI crap, you know,
Mm, mhm.
uh, epicenters that they're building. So the market is good for them, but bad for us because now they're pricing these things like crazy. So building a PC is not good right now. So I heard something. Steam should get into the business of making their own proprietary RAM and hard drives. um, it may be more expensive for them, I think, at the startup, but it may be beneficial for them in the long run, especially if they want to support the Steam machine for a long time. I don't
That's
know.
actually pretty wise because, I mean, Steam is I mean, I know there's GOG and a lot of other, Epic, but Steam is I'm gonna make the educated guess that they have the lion's share of where a lot of people play, and you're right, if they are gonna release the Steam machine, they already have the Steam Deck, they're expanding to have a very successful ecosystem, and once you
Yeah.
have an ecosystem, that would make sense, and I feel like it could be successful if
Yeah.
they were to do that.
Yeah. I mean, Gabe himself has his hands in other things. I mean, dude's like a multimillionaire.
Hmm,
He owns a super yacht company. He's got two super yachts on
that's
of his
crazy.
own. So the guy's got money, and Steam is quintessentially the place to buy games.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I think he's been sued a couple times, even saying like you're trying to build a monopoly, and he's like, I just built a place for people to buy games. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, go ahead, Epic. You can have fun. Go ahead. Good old games. Have fun. But anyway, um, I have also been playing Resident Evil 9. I did a second playthrough.
Mm.
I found tofu.
You did?
I was like I didn't real after the first gameplay, I didn't know or I didn't hear like tofu was discoverable
Right.
in the police station. And I remember I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like wandering the police station, and there's a particular sequence where like you have to look at you go to the planning room or whatever it is. It was like the room in the RPD where like they had the chalkboards and all the seats, and
Okay.
that's where
Yeah.
yeah. So like you have to look at that board for a while and long enough to hear the sound of tofu. And of course, you look to the left, and he's just like peeking around a corner, you know,
What?
looking at you, and then just kind of goes back. And as you're moving through the police station, you'll hear him like pop through every now and then, and it's like, ha, this is so like they didn't need to do this. I mean,
No.
it's like kind of immersion breaking almost because like here is this somber scene of like, the destroyed Raccoon City Police Department, Leon Kennedy probably suffering PTSD, and then you
Yep,
got this
mhm.
giant block of tofu running around. It's like, okay.
But at the same time, like, man, I love you, Capcom, for, like, really going the extra mile for putting stuff like this in the game.
I know it's like they didn't have to do it, but they were like,
No.
"Hey, man, it'd be cool if we did." So like I said, granted it was immersion breaking, but I'm still 100% glad they did it. they put it in
Well,
there.
think about it this way, even if it is immersion breaking, it's not something that you easily stumble into. It's for people that, for the most part, are looking for it. So if you're looking
Yeah.
for it, that means you're generally going to be okay with it.
Mhm.
My question for you is, how different did the second playthrough feel for you?
I played a little bit different.
Okay.
Um, Before I was like, I need to make bullets. I need to make bullets.
Hmm,
That's all
hmm.
I gotta do. Every time I farm for blood or whatever, I gotta make bullets all the time. The second time around, I was like, I was always struggling with those like pimple heads or whatever they called them. Um,
Blister heads.
Blister heads, yeah, whatever. It was close. uh, so yeah, I was like having trouble with those because I was like, man, these guys take a lot of bullets. I'm like, what if I just make those like hemolytic injectors?
Mm,
You know? So I'd pop one in the knee, drop them down, and then you get the prompt like, hey, hit him with the injector. And yeah, I would made a ton of those things, and I would just be like, oh, that was easy. And then you find
mhm.
out it's like I'm not wasting so much ammo now, so
Yeah.
I have more ammo in the end. So
No, you're right. They're bullet sponges. Unless you're like perfect with getting them in the noggin every time, and even then, because they're so fast, and when they start windmilling their arms,
yeah, and it's like it's so annoying. Like sometimes I forget like how much they can reach and close space in front of you. Like he's far away. I got him, and then all of a sudden he just like closes a space within a second, and you're just like ah. But that's literally how my scream is every time I play RE9. So,
nice.
but
Did you change up your perspective at all? Did you stay in
yeah,
third person?
I played Grace in first person this
Ooh.
time around.
How was it? But I guess like you've already played it, so you are already exposed to the spooks.
Part of me wishes I just sucked it up and played Grace in first person mode because I imagine my immersion would have been better.
Mm,
I know everyone said like Grace, you should play it in first person. That's how it should be. But I am too much of a purist to say Resident Evil should all be in third person. Like it should always be that way. But I still love the first person mode. I still love third person mode. But obviously, it's like part of me is like, if I could go back in time and you know,
mm.
Men in Black zap my brain,
Yeah.
I I would have done it in first person mode right away. But
Nice.
otherwise, I didn't do anything different really. Of course, I was trying to get all the little raccoon statues, and of course, at the
Yeah.
end of my second playthrough, I missed one.
Oh
I'm
no.
like, God damn it!
Oh no.
So I think I must have missed something in the beginning. So I'll have to maybe I'll fire it up a third time, and you know,
Did did you figure out some of the more, like, elegant puzzles? Like, I don't know if I'll really replay it for this puzzle because it seems pretty in-depth, what you would do with the, severed hand of the girl.
I looked that up. I am not doing all that.
Right? I was like, "Holy mo"
I'm not doing all that. You gotta beat the game 3 times. I think the one thing I did was, at the end of the, there's gonna be spoilers for this,
Oh, yeah,
but
spoilers, everyone.
spoilers. At the end of the Mr. X fight, there's, like, a basketball court,
Yes.
and you could, like I think part of the puzzle is you have to, like, kick the basketball through the hoop, and then all of a sudden at the end, Leon's like, "I don't have time to play games." And I'm like, "Ha ha." So that's part of the puzzle. It's part of the severed hand puzzle.
That's crazy.
So, like, in order to get full completion, you have to kind of beat the game multiple times, and you have to do certain things on certain playthroughs. It's like, I'm not doing all this. I don't have the time for this.
No, that seems a little too complex for me, like Majora's Mask level complex, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good."
Well, but since you
Um,
mentioned it, because I don't wanna mention him too much when we did the non-spoilery episode a couple weeks ago, I loved how Mr. X showed up. I was shocked at how quick that fight was, though. Was that fight too quick and easy for you?
I did an audible. I remember that scene. I did an audible. What the fuck? I was like, man, there were so many of those moments. I talked about it enough, but there were so many of these like shocking moments. I was like, oh man, oh Jesus. And then like, yeah, he gets bodied. Leon gets bodied, and he's like, oh, I remember that
Remember
too.
that too, yeah.
Yeah, love that line. Yeah. Um, I when you learn to parry, um, I beat him pretty quickly in the second time around.
Mhm,
Because I learned to parry.
mhm.
And I know obviously they tell you you can, but a lot of in my first playthrough, I forgot that you could do that.
Yeah.
To me, Resident Evil doesn't have a parry system, so it's like hard for me to like grasp that concept. Like Leon, you could just parry all this shit. What the hell you doing?
I
You know?
kinda forgot to parry many times during the
Yeah.
game. It's maybe it's the reflex or something, I don't know,
I don't know. It's
or
just not the
lack
way
of.
I was. I'm pretty sure it's the same with you. It's not the way I was conditioned to play Resident
Mhm.
Evil games, so I just don't think
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
You know? But yeah, second playthrough, I beat him much quicker because obviously when you parry him, he kind of gives you that look. He's like, "Oh shit, man, you got good."
Mhm, mhm.
It's like the Luigi meme where like he throws the shell at you and just looks back at you like, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I it's funny. I thought I beat it much faster, and I was only an hour and a half faster my second playthrough, which is weird.
Mm.
But
Well, I got another question for you, sorry, like, now I'm like, "Oh, so many possibilities to talk about it," now
asking me
that we can
questions about
spoil it.
Resident Evil, yeah, yeah, you better be apologizing to me.
The little bit thing that I got tripped up at the, end and, like, the story reveal, so again, big spoilers.
Big spoilers. Yeah,
Grace and the whole Elpis thing.
yeah.
So, Grace was adopted by Spencer because he wanted to atone in some way or whatever. She was and he said she's perfectly normal,
Hmm.
right? And this whole
Yep.
time, Dr. Gideon was like, "Oh, she's special," and running all these blood tests on her. So I'm just trying to reconcile, like, well, she's normal, and she got bit, by the way, in the beginning of the
Yeah.
game.
Yep.
Like, am I missing something? And, like, is
So
just
I
her key to the Elpis is what? Like, I just
well, I mean, that's the thing because like I just remember like that she getting her getting bit at the beginning of the game, and I'm like, am I going to be playing this game with her like succumbing to the infection and stuff, kind of like how Leon does? And
Mhm,
it's like you're. I admittedly I wasn't thinking about it too much on my first playthrough because I'm like, she's not showing any signs of infection. Did like she get something? Did she get the antivirus or the cure? Because
mhm.
I know like in a lot of the games, like obviously, Leon cured himself in 4.
Yep, yep,
Spoiler alert there. Um, you know, Jill cured herself in 3.
yep,
So
yeah.
like,
They're they were
there are
explained
cures out
away,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there are cures out there. So like, Elpis shouldn't be a shocking thing that that's what it ended up being.
Mhm,
But I guess it leads me to believe that at least my internal theory, and I'm pretty sure this is accurate, is that when Spencer was experimenting on all these children.
mm.
So, with his own little personal Epstein Island, he, yeah, I went there. um, the, Corey, you can cut that part out if you want. But, so it leads me to believe like he discovered her and then found something special within her blood that he's like, hey, I can make a ultimate cure with her, you know? And then maybe that's where he got kind of soft, you know, and he's like,
Okay,
maybe this is the way to go, you know. It's just weird because, like I said, Spencer dies in Resident Evil 5.
okay.
Wesker kills him, and at the end of Spencer's life, he was still like a villain. I want to be a god. I want to use this to control the world. All this stuff. Like there was no sense of like Spencer trying to atone for his sins
Right,
and
no
like
remorse, yeah.
no remorse, nothing like that. So it's like kind of weird that they're retconning him to be like this, like, he's an old man, he's a terrible man, but he's atoned for his sins. He's made this like big cure that he's kept secret from everybody.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it wasn't just me because, I started 5, I didn't finish it, but, I've heard enough about it to know, like, what who the bad guys are and what that so when I saw, those scenes with Spencer, and the baby and the toning, I'm like, "Wait, hold on, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? When did this happen?" Um,
I thought it was weird, like I said, but like in Resident Evil 5, you got to the part where like Wesker was like beating the shit out of Chris and Jill. You got to that scene?
mhm, mhm.
Oh, yeah, okay. So yeah, that was the scene I was referring to where it's like, yeah, Spencer's dead in that scene and whatever. But
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I'm just I'm curious. Like it leads me to believe that they're going to be changing a lot of things in the overall canon. Like for example, the well, for one, I don't know. I just keep wanting to say a nuclear missile strike, but I don't think it was a nuclear missile strike. I think there was just a general, I don't
Big
know,
a big bomb,
a
just
big
so
bomb. I
big,
don't
a
know.
big yeah.
I'm not an expert on big bombs, but um it leads me to believe that it was just like a general like missile strike.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
we found out in this game that it wasn't the US government that did this. It was the connections, so to
Yep.
speak, which they have a name now.
Mhm, mhm. And in the end too, where shocker, Zeno or Wesker alike, um,
Wesker number 47,
right?
whatever.
You know,
Yeah.
he injects himself and he's like, "Whoa, what's this? I'm normal now," or whatever. And
Mhm.
Dr. Gideon comes back after not dying from that epic motorcycle fight with Leon.
How cool was that scene?
The best, the best. That it did not need to happen, but it happened
No,
and
it
it was
didn't need to
epic.
happen, but I'm so glad it did.
Me
Like
too.
I said, there were so many of the moments in that game where it's like they didn't need to do this, but
No.
they did
And
anyway.
they leaned in hard.
And I'm glad for it.
Oh, yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
but then Dr. Gideon was like, "Oh, haha, this is anarchy." I guess I just didn't get what he was so excited about in the end because he was excited about a cure?
Yeah, I don't know. I or maybe he's I don't know, because I was kind of confused too. I'm like, this is not the reaction I expected from you. I expected him to be like
Wah,
losing his
wah.
shit or something like
Yeah,
that or whatever. But
exactly. Alright, yeah,
um
because he said something about, like, anarchy. I'm like, "'Cause there's a cure?"
yeah, right? I don't get it. Yeah.
Okay,
So
well, again, I feel better, and this is not me trying to, like, nitpick and criticize Capcom for things maybe not making sense, it's just me sharing my confusion because sometimes I can be dense and not get it. So
yeah, I'm that way too sometimes. Where I was like, I think I'm gonna watch a YouTube video on some breakdown of like the ending here just to see how it makes sense. Um, but yeah, like I was so we know that obviously he like after at the game, Leon looks at him and it's like, oh, the nemesis. So
yep,
he is a nemesis, which makes
yep.
sense why he's like so tall, so
Mhm.
powerful. He's, I think I read someone's like, oh, this is why he's so good with a rocket launcher. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not the reason, but
That's
whatever,
awesome. No, no, I
whatever.
I like that, like, little mini twist of him as a nemesis, yeah.
Yeah. So it, I guess it makes sense why he was like constantly trying to pursue Grace even from the beginning. Um, because I think that was the gene itself. Like, they said like the nemesis pursues its targets,
Yeah,
with violent intent. So, um, yeah, I still don't know that's the one thing I'm still like undecided about. I still don't know what to make of Gideon and his motivations. Like what, like you just found out Elpis is a cure. It's not what you thought it was. For me, I expected a different reaction,
yeah.
but
Otherwise, great villain. We'll see what Capcom does with DLC because the only thing I believe we know that isn't a rumor is that it's going to be story focused or expand on the story. So
yeah, I mean, I would say for most Resident Evil games for years, we've always got some big story campaign. I do have a confession to make actually. I haven't played Separate Ways from Resident Evil 4 remake yet.
what? Even
I
I
know.
played that. That was
I know.
fun.
I know. I played the original one,
Uh,
obviously. But
hey, what's the over and under that Ada's going to appear in this DLC?
I'm putting money. I was putting money down that she was going to show up in the main game.
Same,
And of
same.
course, I lost. So, uh, but the connections we need. I need to know more about them
Yeah,
because they've always been like this, like shadowy organization in the background that, like, oh, Wesker is working for some organization. Ada Wong, if that's her real name, is working for some
in this
organization or something.
organization.
Yeah, so it's like, who are these guys? Like, who's pulling the seat? And even just like, um, some of the behind the scenes stuff of like even who is Gideon working for, because I think they said like him and Wesker testified against Umbrella and they found out
Mm,
they were working for some other organization. So it's like, okay, we've now established them to be the connections, so to speak, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm looking
kind of
forward
like
to it.
the Patriots, Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid.
Yes. Yes. So that'll be in May, which will actually be a great excuse for me to replay it again in a couple
W-
months. So,
What do you want? Capcom comes to you and says, "What should our DLC be focused on?" What are you telling them?
oh, I actually wrote a Boss Rush banter on that, by the way.
I know.
Oh, so maybe that was my more recent article, and it was right before they announced it too. So,
Okay, all right.
I mean, the cliche one would be some story expansion that had to do with Leon, just because I want Ada to pop in there. But that's just kind of a personal
Hmm.
fan request type thing. Um, I don't know. I kind of would like to see, from a perspective, like what goes on at like Rhodes Hill with like Emily, because that perspective is super creepy. If it's going to be anything like the orphanage, it would terrify the crap out of me.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because that for like I was under the impression that Emily just succumbed to this virus and it just mutated her body, right?
Hmm.
And then Leon at the end is like, I didn't hit any of her vitals.
Yeah, and then it all melted, and she was inside of it at
Yeah,
the
and
end,
she
and
was inside.
everything's
Yeah.
fine.
So like I'm thinking like did this virus like create a cocoon around her?
I will
Like
say,
it
out
just
of all things that did not make sense, this one was the one that disappointed me, only because 'cause I'm like, "What? So, like, inside every zombie is still a person?" Like, I don't know.
yeah, so like what? I mean, inside every like mutated monster, yeah, it's like some little kid or some person.
Some you
It's like,
child murderer.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, jeez. Um so I was a little bit dumbfounded. I was like, okay, this is like a kind of like a happy cheesy ending. Leon's walking through the fire and he's like, "Sherry, I got a antivirus with your name on it." And she's
Mm.
like, "That's great." And yeah.
Yeah, I don't it's not like I wanted Emily to die, but it kind of frustrated me. I'm like, "Wait a minute." It just makes the threat it's not as it's still serious, but it's not as scary because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, you just need to kill the outside shell and the person's gonna be fine."
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, this brings me back to how and maybe you can touch more on this and like how a lot of times women heroines in games are treated to be like mother figures.
mm.
We saw that with Claire in Resident Evil 2, how
Yes.
just a single young woman, and all of a sudden, just a random kid pops into the story, and now she's like, "I have to protect this child with every fiber of my being."
Mhm.
Which I imagine, I don't know, like I said, I imagine is a natural instinct that women have compared to men, because grown men see a random child, and they're like, "Ew," boom, kick it, you know,
Don't get in my way.
right?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know what? That is a similarity drawn there. I mean, in the end, like, I didn't think of it in the moment, didn't bother me, but now that you mention, I'm like, "Oh, all right."
yeah. Like I said, I'm not knocking it. I'm not
Yeah.
knocking it at all, but it's just like, um, yeah, we saw Grace like
Mhm.
latch onto this girl pretty
Pretty
quickly.
yeah. Yeah. I think it would have been a lot more comedic if Leon had to be in charge, of Emily, but anyway.
Yeah, that
Um,
would be funny. Yeah,
I think one other DLC choice that would be cool is, you know how we got that memory of the night that Grace's mom got killed in front of her? Like,
Ugh.
kind of an expansion of maybe playing around that time frame. I don't know. How about you?
Yeah. I want Chris Redfield.
Oh, yes, you're right, because
Yeah,
there was a little bit of, post-credit things, right? The wolves?
yeah, because like you've played in Beat Village, right?
I haven't, but
Okay,
I've watched the let's play of it.
okay. So we kind of know, like, so like the BSAA is like this bioterrorism
Yep.
anti-umbrella pyro terrorist unit or something like that, whatever. Um, and they've been around since pretty much like what, five or something like
5,
that. That's when they became. That's
yeah.
who Chris has worked for. He was
Yep.
thinking he was doing good, and then we find out in Village, him and like a team called the Wolf Pack is like separated from them, so they're kind of like a splinter group.
Mhm.
Because I think what in the lore the BSA has been compromised.
Yeah,
So to
yeah.
yeah. So it sounds like Chris is kind of involved, um, and kind of helping Leon behind the scenes a bit.
Mm.
because it leads like afterwards, like Leon says, I wish Chris was here, something
Yeah?
like that. So it's like it leads me to believe that that would be the next logical step.
Mhm. Ooh, that would be very cool, yes.
Yeah. However, I still fangirl over Sheva. We need her back somehow.
Yes. Is there a way they could just write her in? Because I know she was, like, popping up on social media saying she's excited about something, and I don't know
Oh,
if
she
it's
is?
yeah, but I don't know if that could mean anything, right? So
Yeah, but what if it
what
I don't
if
know. Like I really liked her as a character.
yeah.
And obviously, um even though she played like a small part in the overall story, it's like I still want like returning characters. Like I had a discussion with a friend of mine actually about the Ethan Winters story, between 7 and 8. Like to me, I was like, I like Ethan's cool and all, but I want more returning characters.
Well, I think Capcom knew what they were doing when it came to Ethan Winters. They had 2 games and that was it. Like they
Yeah.
spoilers, killed him off, big twist, and
Hmm.
then left it alone. So I'm like, "You know what? That's okay." Right? He didn't overstay his welcome.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, some
And
returning
I get
characters.
that Resident Evil needed a reboot almost.
Yeah, and that's fine now that there's been time, Leon's return has been greatly celebrated. So it'd be nice to see various characters. I think Sheva's one that she appeared in a game. She's not overly used, clearly, and it would be great if they could tie her back in. I don't know how, but
Yeah. So, well, besides Resident Evil Requiem, I ended up getting Fatal Frame 2 remake.
oh.
Um, it's a remake of a game from PlayStation 2 era, the Fatal
Mm,
Frame series. Really good. It's like really old school dark Japanese horror,
mm.
unsettling, suspenseful horror where you're fighting ghosts with a kind of like an old ancient camera. And
That sounds
I
terrifying. I love it.
yeah, it is actually terrifying because I will say like this is like pretty much like step by step, minute by minute, like a full on like recreation of the original game.
Okay.
The only thing that they changed, I think, was they made the ghosts a little bit more aggressive in this game, which I played this game back in October,
Mhm.
and I was like, I mean, the game was kind of easy. The ghosts were kind of slow moving. You had plenty of time to like use your camera and stuff. In this one, the ghosts are a little bit more aggressive, a little bit faster. So it was like for me, it was like a tough, you know,
Ooh.
um, what's the phrase? But yeah, it was a tough adjustment for me to make. And I was like, the ghosts were slower in the original one. Like I said, I'm not knocking it. Like I just got to get used to it. But
You would think, not you would think, that a lot of remakes or remasters tend to make things easier than the older games, so it's kind of, nice in a sense that it's posing more of a challenge. I've been debating whether or not to, start digging into that series because I've once dipped my toe into horror, and now I'm knee deep in it, but I don't know if I'm ready for Fatal Frame.
yeah, this is obviously a lot slower. The it's so skin crawling and just like
Okay.
man, you're really playing on the edge of your seat because you're like, what's going to be around this corner? What's going to pop up here? The
Mm.
door animations, it's so cool the way they do door animations where it's like you walk up to a door and it's like you're in a Japanese like old village or something like that. So
Mhm.
like most of the doors aren't like the typical like doors that we know in
The
America. These are like
slide?
doors slide.
Yeah.
So like when you approach the door, you open it, camera zooms in almost literally right over your shoulder, and all you see is the door opening and then what's on the other side of the door. And I'm telling you, sometimes something's on the other side of that door.
I don't like
And
that.
it's yeah, it's like so every door opening sequence, I'm like, oh no, what's behind this door?
Oh, I don't
Okay,
like
nothing.
that.
Okay, good. Yeah. I'm just saying be ready.
Okay.
Um, but huge like if you played the original, I mean, you're gonna love the hell out of this.
Mhm.
Uh faithfully recreated, not not a huge jump in quality. Like we're not talking like photorealistic visuals or anything like that. But I mean, this game is very dark, but gorgeous still,
Okay. All right.
nonetheless.
Nice.
The ghost animations are so well done.
Mhm.
Um, so well done. Like, I obviously better than the PlayStation 2 version, but I mean, we're working with better technology here.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and then, uh,
Ooh,
and then I played Toxic Commando. I got that one. This one was cheap. So,
nice.
basically, it's the best way to. I don't know. It's the best version of Left 4 Dead that we've gotten in a long time.
Mhm.
This game
Nice.
is a lot of fun. So, it's like basically zombies. It's John Carpenter
Mhm.
campiness. I don't know if you've
Mhm.
ever watched like John Carpenter movies, but
I've watched a few, yeah.
yeah, so it's got that same kind of campiness where it's like, who wrote this script?
Right.
But it's like it's on purpose that way, and it's like to me, it's kind of funny.
Well, that's the
Um,
thing, as long as it doesn't take itself too seriously, then it can be quite enjoyable.
yeah, and it really, like I said, to me, it really doesn't. Like, there's like kind of like funny, awkward humor. There's like the banter between all four of the characters. That's
Mhm.
they kind of taking the piss out of each other every now and then. Um, this game is obviously meant to be played co-op, but
Uh,
it's perfectly playable with AI bots, that
oh,
do a lot of
really?
heavy lift.
They
Yeah,
don't
do they
suck?
do no, they don't. They do a lot of heavy lifting for you. Um, and every stage ends with like a big massive like, horde mode kind of thing where it's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, now you're going to be fighting waves of enemies. And that's probably a little bit more challenging with AI co-op or AI players because like, you want them to like do things and they don't really do you can't tell them to do certain things.
Right, yeah.
So, whatever. But I'm having a lot of fun with this. It's brutal. If you die, you have to start the whole level over again, and each stage could be like up to an hour long
Ooh, yeah,
because
that's
it's the open zone and you can kind of free roam a little bit.
okay. Alright. Nice.
So it was $40 actually,
Not
and
bad.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the $40.
Alright.
So
Nice.
anyway, um, so what'd you pick up? Did you do any pickups?
Nothing too crazy, but because I eventually caved and did get myself, well, I didn't get myself a record player. It's like an all-in-one music player. It's actually pretty cool. It
Oh, cool.
plays vinyl records, CD, cassette, radio, and it does Bluetooth. So it's everything. So I got suckered into a couple of vinyl records. This is the Johto Pokemon vinyl. So this was kind of a big deal because everything's retro, and Johto Legends is like the second generation. And I also got the Silent Hill 2 vinyl.
Where did you get that?
I don't know. I get these updates on Twitter, and it's funny because within minutes, the
Yeah,
edition with the white disc gone. So
yeah,
this
I
one's the
know.
black disc, but still. So I got it.
Okay.
Woo!
Man, like I had a friend of mine send me these links like, "Hey man, check this website out. It's got this like all these versions of the Silent Hill 2 vinyl soundtrack." And I go
Yes.
there and it's like all sold out. And I'm like, "What's
Mhm.
wrong with these websites?"
I know. They restocked. I think they said I got the notification ahead of time. It says at this time the pre-orders will go live. So
What's the website? Do you know? Offhand?
I'll have to kind of.
Okay, all right.
Oh yeah.
You can send it to me later
Yeah.
cuz I'm curious. I didn't bring it. I don't know if I showed it off, but
Oh.
I know I got a few weeks ago I got my vinyl of Clear Obscure Expedition
Oh.
33.
Here, I'll send it to you in the chat. It's Laced Records.
Oh yeah, I use them. That's where I got the Clear Obscure soundtrack.
Well, there you go. So
All
yeah.
right, cool. All right, I'm gonna have to visit this website frequently.
Hmm.
Um, so like, tell me more about this like record player, cassette player thing that you have.
Yeah. I mean, normally I don't boast about a lot of things I buy on Amazon, especially if it's an impulse buy, because I don't know. I feel like if a lot of the stuff that you might impulse buy on Amazon aren't the highest quality, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But it popped up on my like what's on sale, because I have been sincerely looking for things to play old media because I do have a couple of CDs and I don't have a CD player anymore. And I got myself an individual CD player. I have an individual cassette player. It's kind of annoying. And I've held out so long not to reinvest in vinyl, which is, unfortunate because my dad had a wicked vinyl collection and they're all gone.
Wow.
So I just saw it on sale. It says it plays all those things. It was a couple $100 without it being on sale. I think it was on sale for like 100 or even less, I think. But I bought it and yeah, it hasn't failed me yet. It's pretty great.
Cool.
Actually, if I turn this around, one second. I don't know if you can see it. It's that box over that
Oh
tannish
yeah.
box right there. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool because it kind of fits into the environment, I guess.
Yeah.
Doesn't look
Yeah.
too tacky.
It's not. I mean, obviously it's a bit bigger, but that's, if it does and I tried just about everything. Like everything
Hmm.
works pretty seamlessly and the
Oh, cool.
sound quality is good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I just have a plain old Audio Technica record player. I think I did the same thing. I want to say a year ago. I bought a record player as an impulse buy on Amazon. It was like a cheap one, $30. And I was like, well, let me dip my toes in it,
Mhm.
see if I get into it. And sure enough, I got a stack of vinyl records now. So
What do they mostly consist of? Like music or video game
yeah,
music?
yeah. So I don't know. It's like I feel bad because like I'm huge and I have a Spotify account, and that's where I consume the majority of my music. And I'm like, I know artists are getting paid shit on Spotify. I know it, but like that just seems to be the way I like to consume music now because I can listen to everything and anything,
Mhm.
for a few bucks a month, so to speak. But it's like, but if there's artists that I really like that I really want to support, I feel like this is a good way for me to like, hey man, I really like your record. Really like this new album. I'm gonna buy it. So, like I said, I'm a metalhead, so I buy a lot of metal. Um, I think just recently, I ended up getting like an old record from a band I used to listen to in the '90s, Bad Religion.
Oh
They're
my
a punk band.
gosh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was like, hey man, like I used to play this album all the time in high school. So, um, pick that up, and then I want to say there's a metal band that came out with a new record just recently called Silosis. So they're a thrash metal band, I think, from
Thrash
England.
metal. Okay.
Yeah,
Silosis. I'll have to check them
yeah,
out.
yeah. Um, really good album. I remember I was like, I think I listened to it on Spotify, and I immediately went to their page. I was like, I'm buying your record.
That's
So
great. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll admit I've been spoiled with streaming music.
yeah.
Um because we grew up, speaking of all that generational talk earlier, like I grew up with cassettes, CDs, and at that time changing out a CD really wasn't that big of a deal. And now
You were
like when
driving you think kids are distracted now?
right?
You were driving your car,
The
going through
big
your
book.
CD wallet on your lap, like, "What CD do I wanna play? God damn it."
And, like, we didn't like, it wasn't that inconvenient, we just did it, right? But now, like,
Yeah,
for example, even with my player, soon as it's done with the record, I'm like, "Oh, I have to get up and flip the record."
yeah, yeah.
But, it's alright, I still like
Uh,
it. That's why, like, I'm recollecting things, like, aside from video game soundtracks, I also, like I got the Guns N' Roses, like, one of their albums, because 'cause I'm, like, trying to go back, like, or which are the ones that I really want, and I got something from the
mhm.
Beastie Boys, so
Yeah, I know, I gotta get some of that stuff. My mom is slowly turning me into a Bruce Springsteen fan.
ooh, okay.
So, I bought the Nebraska album recently because
Alright,
I
okay.
saw the movie last year, and I was
Mhm.
like, "I think I can get behind this." So, I bought that one, and then I think one of his earlier ones, um, really good. So
Nice.
I don't know. To me, it's like kind of like the old days where you would just like you pop the CD into your CD player, you went and laid down on your bed, and you just like read the lyrics on that little wall on that little pamphlet that you got, whatever. And that was how we consumed music back then. Like
Yeah, man. Ugh. Anyway, before I fall
anyway,
down a pit hole of nostalgia, what are some of
yeah.
your pickups?
Um, not much. I just got this in the mail just this today actually. The Shinobi.
Shinobi!
Yeah,
Nice.
finally from Limited Run, it came with the um Oh, actually, I think yeah. So there's no glare, but yeah, it's like the Shinobi clamshell case. It's supposed to say
Oh.
Genesis on it, but yeah, the I'm a little disappointed in this. I opened it up and I was like, this is all that's in it. It's
Oh.
literally just it's a steel book
That's it?
and there's like nothing in it. And I was like, how much did I pay for this? Because I bought this in May and I've waited since May for this. So I forgot what was in it. And I'm like, God, I hope I didn't spend a lot of money for this thing. I mean, it's
Oh.
cool. It's cool to sit on the shelf, but I'm like, I
No,
don't
when
know.
I
Part of
see
me,
a packaging like that, I would have expected a little bit more.
yeah, I expected maybe some stickers, a keychain, I don't know, a map, something.
Well, especially when
Um,
it's, like, in the it's not the same, it's the old casing. Like, remember how you got me
it's
the
a big
Turok?
case.
You got me
Yeah,
that Turok thing, it was in the N64 packaging and actually, like, had
yeah.
a replica of the like, it had some alright, so that's a little bit of a letdown. I would have been a little disappointed.
Yeah, because I think I did this with did the same thing with Streets of Rage 4 when it came out. And it
Mm,
came out with the same kind of clamshell like design, whatever. And it had actually stuff in it. It had stickers. I think it had like a couple trading cards or something like that, whatever. And I
mm.
was like, cool. This, I'm like, I mean, I love me a good steelbook, but I was like, cool.
They could yeah. Well, let's
Um
hope that's a one-off and not the direction they're headed. I haven't received a lot of limited run stuff recently because I bought, like, half the store when I flew there, but, you know,
yeah.
we'll see. I know they're undergoing leadership change, like Fairhurst,
Oh, okay, yeah.
um, is working on something mysterious. It's funny, I actually ran into him while I was in Tokyo.
Oh, like how?
I went to
Like
the
purely on
Capcom
accident?
yeah, purely on accident. No, I did not
Oh, okay.
coordinate this.
Oh, I was gonna say.
No, no, I was at the Capcom, like, museum exhibit, and then on my
Mhm.
way out, I'm like, "Josh Fairhurst?" He goes, "Whoa, this is, like, I know, weird coincidence." So he's working on something, but I think yeah, he said, like, as of March, he, left, limited run. I don't know who's taken over.
Okay. I mean, I have like I don't I hate to say I have a love-hate with them because like I hate sometimes I got to wait so long for things,
Yeah.
you know? But I get the reasoning behind it. I mean,
Mm.
they're a company that's doing things that I want, you
Yeah,
know. I want physical copies of a lot of these games and they're bringing that to me. They're doing that. I have a huge list of games that I'm still waiting for, that it's
yeah.
like I forgot I ordered them and all of a sudden months later I get an email notification like, "Hey, your game's being shipped." I'm like, "What?
It's
What
like,
did
"I
I get
ordered
this time?"
this?"
Yeah.
Nope, I agree. Actually, one time that happened to me, and then I forgot I pre-ordered it, and then I somehow bought it again. I forgot if it was just because I bought it at the physical PAX limited run booth, and now I have
Mhm.
2, like, collector's editions of, like, Chicory. I'm like, "Oh, okay. I have 2
Yeah,
now because I forgot I pre-ordered the first time."
cool. Cool. Um, the Blasphemous
Ooh.
physical edition that limited run have
Mhm.
had is so much money right now.
It's yes, highly
It's rid
coveted.
Yes, because I bought it at the store. I remember I bought it
Uh,
at the physical store. I bought it for $80, and I think it goes for like 300, $400 complete in box now.
I wouldn't be surprised. That makes
And I'm
sense.
like, Jesus, man. Sometimes I hate game collecting just
Yeah.
because of that. So yeah, otherwise, like, I mean, uh, Toxic Commando and Fatal Frame 2, I bought physical copies of because
Mhm.
I'm still holding out. I'm still holding out hope that physical is going to stay around for a while, but I don't know. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. But speaking of
Yeah.
which, not necessarily for podcast content, but I'll send you the image of the menu for limited run rare packs if you need me to get you something.
Oh,
I
absolutely. Like, I'll definitely wire you some money somehow.
no worries. No
Yeah.
worries.
Um, so kind of what we were talking about, you and I were talking about, I guess, sharing our kind of like interest and love for Resident Evil and Silent Hill. And they both kind of came out almost at the same time. I think Resident Evil came out first and then Silent Hill came out because Konami wanted to do survival horror too as well. But they wanted to do it a little bit differently.
Mhm.
And both pioneers in what they did, but both way different in how they
Mhm.
did it. Um, Resident Evil was a little bit more like virus, monster, survival horror type stuff, whereas Silent Hill was like unsettling,
Mostly
psychological.
psychological with a little
Yeah,
bit of the occult.
yep. Which is interesting because Silent Hill started out as like a cult like game. I mean, everybody when everybody talks about Silent Hill now, they always they refer to Silent Hill 2 as like
Yeah.
the benchmark, you know, the one that every Silent Hill game should be like, which to me, I think like as much as I love that game, it hurts it hurts the franchise so much because everybody wants the next Silent Hill
Right.
game to be Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
And it's like,
No,
yeah, you
no,
gotta let
don't yeah, don't pigeonhole, like,
yeah,
don't stay with one thing.
you gotta let the other games breathe. You gotta let the other games kinda do their thing, and that's why I was kinda glad with Silent Hill 3, um, came out that it went back to the occult
Mhm,
storyline a little bit,
mhm.
to where it's like, okay, we're moving past this whole, like, crime and punishment, you know, living your worst nightmares in a physical realm kinda thing that Silent Hill 2 did.
Yeah,
Um,
and even, Silent Hill F, spoiler-ish, even though it primarily was definitely a psychological trauma experience, a lot of the lore that's sprinkled in there does have a lot of occult, like, attributes to it. It's actually a nice blend.
Yeah, it really is. I think Silent Hill F did it really well. It was kind of
Mhm.
almost like a retelling of the first Silent Hill, but in like a different time era, actually.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one that I was actually really drawn to, and I was like, I kind of felt I felt bad for like Japanese women. I was like, man, is it really this? It was really this bad for them, you know?
Mhm.
Like basically, the overall story is like you become you like what Japanese young Japanese women subjugating themselves to the husband
Pretty
and
much.
literally just giving up every part of their life and every part of
Yeah.
their being.
Yeah, metaphorically killing themselves, not physically, but mentally and psychologically killing themselves, like you said, to
Yeah.
just be everything for the man. Your happiness is purely all because of the man. Yeah.
Yeah, and your sole existence is to just please your
Yeah.
husband,
So
please
it's
your
almost like you
man.
have to be dead inside,
Yeah, which is
basically.
like, man, I was like, yeah, I didn't want this for them. And I think I caught more of that on my second playthrough
Yeah, yeah.
because the second playthrough of Silent Hill F was like really cool. Like they kind of told you a little bit more about what she's going through. And I'm like, I don't like this, man. I hope she can get out of this.
Hmm.
But so um Steph, what was your first experience with both Resident Evil and Silent Hill?
So I'm gonna probably be more of the opposite experience of you, but I think it's a great balance, right? I'm a late comer for two reasons. Primarily, when these came out, I was probably a bit on the younger side, and I know plenty of kids would have in our generation maybe experienced these games young anyway. But I was young and really didn't have access to those games. I was at the
Mhm.
mercy of like either my parents or not being aware. So I missed the train of when Resident Evil and Silent Hill initially kicked off, and then number 2, even when I got a little older, I'm a big weenie and I not hate, I'm scared of horror anything. And only because of Celeste, our friend Celeste, talked a lot when she was on the podcast about Resident Evil and how, like, the lore is a lot of fun, like, it's very,
Mhm.
like, good for fans. So I'm like, "Alright, I'll play it just for the lore," and I think that is when Resident Evil 2 remake came out. Right? And I
Yeah.
waited and I waited, and I actually started with Resident Evil 4 Remake. Like, I pulled the trigger with that. So I played RE4 Remake, then I went back, played RE2 Remake. Then I'm like, "Alright, I think I'm ready for Silent Hill," and I played the first Silent Hill because I was gonna a guest on a podcast, Tales from the Backlog. So
Okay.
that prompted me to play that, and that's when then Silent Hill 2 Remake came out, and I played that, and then Silent Hill F. So, like, I'm still at the start, right? And obviously Resident
Yeah.
Evil Requiem, but now I'm so eager to either go back and play older versions or I mean, if remakes do come out for other ones, I might as well play that just because 'cause I'm used to the more modern stuff, but
Mhm.
I am grateful I got to experience the original Silent Hill, I will say that.
Yeah, that's really cool because I going back to play some of these games, especially if you've never played them before or if you don't have nostalgia for them, can be kind of rough. Um, Trying to talk to people about tank controls, it's like it's completely goes against everything we know in third person games right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I'll admit, I definitely struggled in the beginning, but you know what? Once I, like, just told "Oh, just shut up, stop complaining, get used to it," I actually got used to it relatively quickly.
yeah, I mean, you can because I mean, your brain is capable of like
Yeah,
adapting to things. So,
yeah.
granted, it may not be the most perfect control scheme, and it isn't. But at the time that it came out, it was pretty new, like third person action games. Like I not when I say tank controls, I'm primarily referring to Resident Evil because for me, I was there from the beginning for both of them. I was in high school when both of these games came out, so I was like, that was the talk of the town. The
Mhm.
PlayStation was like the hottest shit at the time,
Oh, mhm.
and it was like you either had a Nintendo 64 or you had a PlayStation, and I had a PlayStation. Um, my brother had the Nintendo 64, so he was more into Ocarina of Time and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
that
I
was
I had
me.
PlayStation, so um,
Oh, you were the cool one.
hell yeah, it was a cool one. But it was kind of messed up because a lot of my friends were playing Ocarina of Time at the time, and I did
Mhm.
too. Like, I loved it, but a lot of my friends were calling my house. I'm like, "Hey, man, does your brother play Ocarina of Time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he does." He's like, "Put him on the phone for a second, because this was the days you couldn't just search the internet and find, you know,
Oh.
guides. You had to like call your friends or talk to your friends and be like, "How'd you get past this part?" So they were calling him, asking him how to get past certain parts, and I'd be like, go to my brother. I'm like, "Does he want to talk to me?" He's like, "No, he just hung up." I was like, "Oh,
Oh.
guess I'll go back and play my PlayStation." But anyway, um, so yeah, I was there for the beginning. So it's always very interesting when new people jump into the genre and find out where it is they jump into. Um, because especially Resident Evil has seen a few different changes
Yes.
in its lifespan. It was pure survival horror. It became action. Then it went to action,
Yep.
too much
And
action, and then back to like really kind of survival horror-ish.
back to its
And now
roots.
and now it's kind of like creeping back up a little bit. It's like a blend where it's like it's trying to still find its way.
Yeah.
But so it's interesting, like people jumping into the remakes now. And like for me, I'm like, I was there since the beginning. I remember Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4, the originals, and like I love the remakes, don't get me wrong. But I was like, I'm still that
Mhm.
old man. It's like I remember back in the day when it
Yeah.
was, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like if I was there from the beginning, I would have that same exact sentiment. But,
But
and
I'm
there's
also not like a hater of just like,
yeah.
you're not those guys that are like you're not a real Resident Evil fan unless you played the first one, or
Yeah,
you're not a
see,
real Silent Hill fan until you play a PlayStation 2 version of Silent Hill 2. Like, no,
yeah.
I'm not like that. Honestly, I'm happy anybody gets into this stuff, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, say, people say what you will about remakes. I'm sure like I would feel a certain way if a game close to my heart from childhood got remade, but if it exposes more people to play the franchise and get into the franchise, like
All the more better.
that's exactly. So,
Then that means like more games in the series, which is
mhm.
what I want, and ultimately in the end. So, I think I was the one when the Silent Hill transmission was announced, the very first one.
Yes.
I texted David Lasby. I'm like, I'm calling dibs on this freaking article. He's like, of course, man, it's yours. You were the first person I thought of. I was like, I'm already writing it right now.
I
Um,
believe I saw that too, because oh, so that was the first ever transmission, because
yep,
they announced, like, F and transmission I mean, not
yeah,
transmission,
yeah. They
Townfall.
they they announced. I think obviously two remake was the big one that they
Yep.
kind of teased. They announced like other projects in the works. I think yeah, they did give teasers for Townfall, and then that other really bad one that I already
I mean,
blocked out of my memory.
the interactive, like it was an interactive, like, movie thing.
Yeah, where it was like the
You
series
voted
changed
or
based
something?
on your votes, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I heard it was
They
bad.
they also released a very short game.
Yes.
Oh, that was my first Silent Hill game, actually. Silent
Okay.
Hill: The Short Message.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a good demo. I think it
Yes.
was kind of like it was like a good like palette like taste, just like, hey, this is kind of what Silent Hill's kind of about. And yeah, it kind of like it told the story about like a high school girl,
Mhm.
and
She felt guilty.
talked a lot about teenage suicide and everything. So it
I
was an interesting story, but I think it's funny because you still get those Silent Hill 2 fanboys that are just like, you know, I don't need this. I don't
or
need you to tell me this story like this. It
it's
needs to be
not
more
in
like Silent
Silent
Hill 2.
Hill.
Yeah, I know. It's like, so what, man? Like, get over yourself.
And you
Like,
tell me what you think, but my interpretation of what the short message was, yeah, the Konami kind of wanted to, show off what Silent Hill is. But at that time, we haven't seen Silent Hill in a while, right?
yeah,
And the more
I would say
recent,
10 years, I think.
exactly. So I think they were also trying to like also get a feel on the feedback. Like they're trying to test the waters, right? They'll still do the projects, but they're testing the waters, take note of any actionable feedback. And this is a stretch, but the monster that chased that character is like it's a monster, so it's grotesque, but it also had like a lot of like beautiful flowers around it.
Hmm.
And I think that might be them playing around with the idea of how they're going to change Silent Hill, meaning Silent Hill F, where they did the beauty is terror, terror and beauty.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
lot of testing.
I totally saw that. I think I saw that more. You're right. Actually, once I started playing Silent Hill F, it's like the flower arrangements and the kind of like obviously beauty, like you said, beauty meeting horror. I got what they were doing with it. The short transmission, and I'm there for the message. I mean, it's granted sometimes people don't like to be preached to about certain things, which I think was a kind of like a complaint I saw on Reddit or whatever. I don't go to the Silent Hill subreddit like ever. It's
Oof.
it's 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 not a good place to go. So, and just hearing what people had to say about it and just like I'm like, "Oh, whatever, man." Like, I don't like being preached to. This isn't
Yeah.
a good game, you know?
Well, so how did you feel during that because that's a lot of Silent Hill news, and I remember you, like, you'd always post the meme of the clown makeup. You were just waiting for that
Yeah.
time. How was that for you?
Every year I was like, maybe we're gonna get something new for Silent Hill this year. So, and I was happy. I was happy that we're getting something. And however, I guess what I was worried about was Konami passing the reins of their franchise to other developers.
Mhm.
So it's like this could either work out for you and your benefit, or it could also hurt you because then people are taking your baby, your franchise, and then just like I don't know, not necessarily trashing it, but also like it may not be trying to realize what the mission is of what the franchise. Because like say for example, obviously more specifically Silent Hill means something to a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And you could get story interpretations 15 different story interpretations from 15 different people, and they're all widely different. So it's like Silent Hill means this to me, Silent Hill means that to me, and it's like cool, none of those are wrong answers unless you're a Silent Hill 2 fan, to where once again, I think that's really what hurt the franchise in the beginning because it always wanted to go back to what Silent Hill 2 was, psychological internal torment type horror.
Mhm. Yeah, that is really unfortunate, because what I actually think the ability to walk away with several different interpretations is quite an artistic feat, if I dare use the word artistic, but, like,
I mean, you as a writer, I imagine, can sympathize with that to like leave
yeah.
your audience guessing as to what's happening.
Yeah, and, I know this is kinda one of your talking points too. Um, as you could tell by now, I love both franchises. By no means am
Yeah.
I, like, a veteran, but, like, I am now a fan. I'm here for it. if I were to pick one that I like a little bit more just from a personal standpoint, I think I'm more of Silent Hill just based off of the fact that there's just so much. Not only is it just scary as hell, but, like, it messes with you, makes you really think, like, what's going on? What could it mean?
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, Resident Evil's great, I love my little motorcycle rocket launcher battles,
Yeah.
and blowing up zombie heads, but I just think the well is deep with Silent Hill.
Yeah, and there's so many ways that you could tell the story, you know? Granted, the Silent Hill franchise started with a town, you know,
Yeah,
but it's obviously, you know,
it's evolved.
it's evolved more into, the outside of it. So now almost Silent Hill is not a place, it's like a state of being, or it's like a metaphor, like you said, so to speak, where it's like, you know, Silent Hill can be seen as like one's personal hell,
Mhm,
you know, which that we see that in a lot of their games. Homecoming, Downpour, some of like I said, the ones that were kind of misses for a lot of people. But Silent Hill 4 definitely was very different at the time. That was the first game not to be taking place in Silent Hill at all.
mhm.
And I remember the fans were a little bit divided at that time, even. They were just like, it's not even, they shouldn't even call it Silent Hill. It's not even in Silent Hill. But it's like, yeah, but it's, you know,
That's so
still a
rigid
good game.
in thinking because if it could only take place in a town called Silent Hill,
Yeah.
I just
Or
feel
like
like
imagine a Resident Evil game, like every Resident Evil game starts like, even though I said I like returning characters
Mhm,
in my Resident Evil games, I also like it when they introduce someone new. Like Grace was a great addition
yeah.
to the Resident Evil universe. I loved her character.
Yeah. And this is now a personal take, but as long as, developers for the Silent Hill franchise keep in the just general theme and they're very, how to say, like, oh man, I'm just getting tired, but anyway, I like their direction where they're considering, um, various locations. Like you said, now that Silent Hill is transforming into more of the concept and the idea,
Hmm.
that opens up so many possibilities. And like the Japanese lore that they got to leverage with Silent Hill F, the Scottish lore that we'll find out soon in Townfall. Oh my gosh, like I think that's fantastic. I know I'm getting. I want to go back to talking about which franchise you might like a little bit more, but I will say I took a quick peek at the comment section when I was reading the most current Silent Hill transmission when they looked at Townfall.
Hmm.
I regret I regret popping that chat open. It was just a
Yeah.
bunch of people just like, "Oh, where's the Silent Hill 1 remake? And this is lame."
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, Me personally, I prefer Resident Evil, and Um, I think obviously I have more nostalgia of Resident Evil and
mm,
sharing it with other people. I think I said it before. It's like nostalgia to me sometimes means more like, hey, I have fond memories
yeah.
outside of said thing where it was like I had fond memories of playing Resident Evil with my best friend at the time. We both got into the
Mm,
series at the same time. We still talk about it constantly to this day. I mean, right now, him and I are sending Resident Evil reels back and forth to each other on Instagram, and it's like it's really cool that we can still share that. So but I think I liked, even though like Resident Evil had its ups and downs, I really liked where they took the series, and almost like there were snapshots in time of like, when Resident Evil went the full action route of 5 and 6. Man, if you were there during the time when like everything was like all action, everything wanted to be modern warfare, everything wanted to be Gears of War, and survival horror really wasn't hitting at the time.
mm,
So Capcom was like, we gotta start dialing it up a bit here.
mhm.
That's why we got Resident Evil 5 and 6 in the way we did. And then
Well,
PT came out and changed the game. And I want to say it changed the game for the better, because if we didn't have PT, and I will die on this hill, if we didn't have PT, we would not have had Resident Evil 7.
hmm.
We
Did
would
you
not have had.
actually have the opportunity to play PT?
Yeah, I still have my old PlayStation 4 with PT. I
Oh,
will not
dude,
sell
that's
that. I
awesome.
will not sell that thing because I still have it installed on my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, don't
So
do it. No, I only, I didn't, so I could only watch someone playing through it. And man, that was.
terrifying,
Mhm,
terrifying. Not expecting anything like that ever at the time, and
mhm,
it's like obviously it had the most obscure way of beating the game just to see credits roll, but like to see the potential of what Silent Hill could be, and there's a long story attached to why we didn't get Silent Hill the way we did in that PT demo. It
mhm.
changed horror games forever. Like at the time, everything wanted to be the PT clone.
Yeah. Oh, Kojima.
Yeah, no kidding. Just couldn't realize his vision. But
Yeah.
um, so I like I said, I preferred Resident Evil because I mean it took some wild detours, man. It really did. And it's a lot of it stuck with the mainline story. We got a lot of really cool offshoots. Cool.
Mhm.
But I like obviously there was more Resident Evil content and Silent Hill stumbled a lot.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of disappointing to be a Silent Hill fan because it's like, man, it's just it's just after 2 it just wasn't enough to hook people.
Mhm.
So
Oh, I'm
uh
I'm
so
very. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
well, I was just going to kind of lead into like the next talking point of just like that was the disappointing part of being a Silent Hill fan is that there was a drop off. I want to say I
Mm.
think the last official Silent Hill game we got was like Book of Memories, and it was a PlayStation Vita game. It was a
Okay.
top-down like Diablo type clone. Like it was like,
Really?
yeah, it was like, what are you guys doing with this franchise now? It's kind of like a joke now.
Mm.
So, and then I think that was it. PT came out. Konami got rid of Kojima, and almost like wasn't developing video games at all.
Yeah, weren't they just focusing on pachinko machines?
Yeah, and like just hanging out, making money that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're sitting on just piles of really good franchises
Mhm.
and, you know, people are like banging on your door, like, hey, make more Castlevania games. Hey, Silent Hill, make another Silent Hill game.
Yeah, when I was looking back at the history of Konami, like when I joined the Boss Rush community and kind of got myself up to speed with gaming and everything, and I'm like, "Oh, so again, this was when I was re-educating myself. Oh, that Konami was behind that franchise. Konami was
Yeah,
behind that franchise." And like Capcom for the most part has kind of stayed on top of their shit like for the most part. And then yeah, I noticed like, man, during whatever year, I was like, when was last time we saw a Castlevania game or new one? When was last time they made a Silent Hill game? When was last I was like, "Man, what happened to them?"
I know. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
So,
They s-
in
they
in
stumbled.
in general, and I know this goes beyond Silent Hill, I'm glad to see Konami, coming back in a way that Capcom did in more or less, like, breathing new life into their games. I mean, I know it's not the same, but they had, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. They announced a new Castlevania game with
Yep.
co-developed with the devs behind Dead Cells, I think.
Really excited for that one.
Yes. Working on Mega Man and then obviously Silent Hill. So,
Yeah.
like, good.
Yeah, it really is. And granted, I mean, you have to. It's like one of those things where it's like a lot of movies are coming out with like kind of like remakes of
Mm,
old, classics that gets the adults into the room and they also bring their kids, as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, dad played Resident Evil back in the day when I was your age. And it's like cool that dad or mom can see, new Resident Evil stuff popping up or new Silent Hill stuff popping up that their kids are playing now. So
Mhm,
it's kind of cool to see a little bit of both. But also, yeah, kind of like remakes and reimaginings, even though it's like um what they're doing with Resident Evil now is they're kind of retconning and changing a few things in the overall lore and canon where it's like, okay, that's an interesting choice. I'm not that protective of the canon
mhm,
of Resident Evil because it's like, I mean, they're the writers. They could do whatever they want with this franchise. I'm
mhm.
just here to play the games and have fun. So,
Alright, I was gonna ask you if it would bother you if they retcon some of the lore. I can imagine there's definitely both extreme sides of the argument. I remember when, like, for me, my big franchise was Zelda when they came out with a timeline officially, and
Which
at first
I still don't believe that timeline is actually real.
I'm pretty convinced, yeah, Nintendo just threw it together. Maybe
Yeah,
they, and at first I like really got into it. I'm like, oh yeah, the timeline. And then, when the era of the wilds came out and they're like, oh yeah, Breath of the Wild took place like way ahead and it doesn't even matter anymore. The
yeah,
people that got super into the timeline like freaked out. And for me, I'm like, I mean, yeah, but I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. It's okay. Like,
yeah, it's
whatever.
fine. They're all great games. They're all great standalone games, and honestly, Nintendo didn't need to. But I think they had an opportunity. They were like, "Hey, like we had all these like Toon Link games. What if we put them all together in a timeline? And then like, what if we put Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask in its own time? You know, it's like, I don't know. I think they were just kind of grasping at straws just to make it kind of interesting for the players and stuff. But
I mean, the fact that Skyward Sword was the game that meant to be timeline-wise the very first game, because it's like
yeah, the
the not the
catalyst, yeah.
that would have been enough. It's more like, okay, we all know like this is supposed to be the origin of Demise, Ganon, whatever, and then the rest
Mhm.
can be. So it's one of those things where I do like lore. I really love lore, and timelines are great. But like you said, if they want to go back and adjust things, what like you said, they're the creators. They could do whatever they want. And I would bet you, especially as a writer myself, when they were first developing these, I don't think they had a lot of stuff in mind like that, whether or not it was going to make total sense, you know?
Well, yeah, can you imagine being a creator and having the kind of like the ego to say like this is going to be the most popular 30, 40 year franchise in history. So we better start making lore for
Make
this right now. You know, no.
exactly. They were just gonna wanted to make a cool ass game.
Yeah, exactly. And then they were like, we make a cool ass game. Hopefully we can make another cool ass game in this
Yeah.
same world or the same universe. So yeah, I mean, you know, for me, like going back to kind of where I was, the disappointing part of the series for Silent Hill was, I want to say for me it was Downfall or Downpour.
Okay. I was like,
And
downfall,
yeah,
downfall.
no, no, yeah, I'm mixing the two, but yeah, Downpour was like, dude, what's Konami doing? You know, they had like other developers like developing the games because Team Silent was the original developers that created Silent Hill. They created the
Mhm.
first four. They were killing at it, and then Konami's like, you know what? We're gonna take your franchise and we're gonna move on, have other people develop it. You know, and it was kind of like, oh man, you're taking it away from them. You
Mhm.
know, and a couple of them stuck around with Konami. A couple of them moved on to do other things, but it was like, man, like imagine if you let these guys like kind of keep cooking like
Yeah.
for franchise after franchise, but or whatever. So, um, yeah, Downpour. It was like I played it and I'm like, I don't think I like where Silent Hill's going.
Oh.
Um, and I would say I had a little hope with Shattered Memories, which was probably besides Silent Hill 2, probably the most unique Silent Hill game in the whole franchise because it played you a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit. Um, it's a game that I don't know if you've ever played it or if you've ever watched it.
Mm-mm.
The game starts of you sitting down in a chair, first person perspective, talking to a psychiatrist.
Mhm.
And the psychiatrist is kind of trying to decipher like what happened. And it's a retelling of the first Silent Hill game. But
Oh.
and you're answering certain questions. You know, they say like, "Hey, you know, are you an adventurous type or are you a loner type? What's the first thing you think of when you see these words?" It's it's just kind of random questions like that that you think are random, but actually affect the gameplay and affect the characters that you meet and the story beats in the game. And depending on how you answer these questions determines the ending, so to speak.
Ooh, okay.
It's very unique, and it's one thing like on your first playthrough, I didn't expect the game to play me like that, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, was I answering all those questions wrong?" But when you think about it, no, like you're answering honestly, like you should be answering honestly.
Mhm.
but I was like, "Oh, man, it'd be cool if more Silent Hill games were like that." Of course, nothing.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we got to that full, like, 10-year hiatus, and it was like, "I guess Silent Hill's never coming back, boys. Keep putting on the clown makeup every year."
Mhm.
For me, Resident Evil 6 was a big I liked Resident Evil 6 for what it was, but man, it was like, they don't know what they're doing with this franchise anymore.
Yeah, that's what I hear, that 6 I mean, there's a couple fans out there, but for the most part, they're like, they went too hard, too much, just yeah.
I mean, they
So
wanted to bring a new audience in. I get
yeah.
that. I get what they were trying to do, and obviously the virus is now spread globally, worldwide, and they wanted to bring all these characters, all these returning
Mhm.
characters in. It's like a nice hodgepodge of like, we got Chris Redfield, we got Leon Kennedy, we got Sherry Birkin in here and stuff. We got a couple new characters in here, and Ada Wong is messing around, and it's cool, but
Was that
also,
the storyline where, like, there was an Ada Wong clone-like thing?
yep,
Okay.
yep,
These clones.
yeah, yeah,
Well, it's like you mentioned, like, you gotta give Capcom some credit given the context of the industry and the landscape and just trying to make sure they retain, a fan base, an audience. Things were changing and they took risks.
hmm
They clearly did not all pay off, but the fact that they were mindful and they ended up with 7 and having this renaissance, I mean, if anything, I give them kudos, so
yeah. 7 was a risk.
mm,
7 really was a risk. They knew they had to do something different, but obviously at the time it was like this isn't going to be a traditional Resident Evil game, and yeah, it was a big gamble. I could only imagine like the anxiety of just like if people aren't going to like this game, this is going to be the end of Resident Evil. It's
mhm.
going to die kind of like Silent Hill did back then.
Yeah, different perspective, completely new protagonist. It's not
Yep.
your traditional zombie, it's a mold monster, you
Yeah,
know?
right. Yeah, all of a sudden now it's mold,
Mold.
So,
Yeah.
which it worked out for him because we got
Yeah,
Village, right after that. So,
and even Village was a bit different in a sense that it almost had a little bit of, like, fairy tale, like, fantastical elements to it, which
yeah,
at first I did not know how I felt about it, but you know what? It worked. It
I think
worked.
it did. Yeah, it was a little bit out there, and I mean, admittedly, Village ranks lower on my ranking for
Yeah.
my, top Resident Evil games for me. It still was a great game for what it was. It's just like it's not one of my favorites where it's like, man, I really want to play this game again,
You don't wanna get stepped on by Lady D?
I mean, okay, I'll probably stop playing after that part, but I will say playing that part in VR is quite interesting. It's like, oh my god, this is weird.
Oh my.
But I kind of like it.
Which section do you think was the scariest? Not your favorite, the scariest, because I honestly found the dollhouse one to be
Yep.
terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. At the end, oh my
Yes.
god, yeah. Replaying that section because I know there was like the Rose DLC where you play as
Oh,
Ethan's
yeah.
daughter growing
Yeah,
up. You
yeah.
go back to that section and it's
Mhm.
just as terrifying.
Yep.
I was like, Jesus, how could they have made this even more
More
scary? Good Lord.
yeah.
Um, so kind of to cap things off,
Mhm.
where do you hope both of these franchises go from here?
I feel like Capcom's on a pretty good trajectory, like you said, it's almost like every 3 games they switch up the formula. The Ethan Winter stories is done, and
Yep.
then for the 30th anniversary with Requiem, they did like a really wonderful paid homage to past and present. I'm not sure where they'll go next because of that, to be honest
hmm
with you. But I have faith in Capcom that they will put out some solid titles. I know they'll probably want to cycle through some remakes. Like I'm sure Code Veronica is in there somewhere. A bunch of other rumors that I don't want to necessarily give too much time and attention to. But for Silent Hill, I'm probably a bit more intrigued by because of such a long hiatus and that they confirmed that they want to change the trajectory from just Silent Hill being a place to a theme, and they say that they want to experiment with different locations. My only concern is that their goal is to put out a Silent Hill game almost every year,
Yeah.
which I guess if you're a fan, great. Like, but at the same time, I get a little nervous. I'm like, please don't rush or push it every 2 or 3, well, 2 years, like, that's okay. It doesn't need to be annual as long as you give it the time it needs.
Yeah, and I feel like they did that with like Resident Evil did that. It's like every 2 years or so we got a new Resident Evil game. Um yeah, cuz I feel like Resident Evil 4 remake came out 2 years ago, 2023 or something.
23, I think it was, yes.
Yeah. So like obviously we got Requiem like 2.5 years later or something like that, whatever. But I feel
Mhm.
like that's enough to just keep people hungry, so to speak. Um, I heard a phrase where it's like it's easy to keep people hungry to make people hungry, but it's harder to keep them hungry when they're fed, so to speak. So
Ooh,
I'm afraid of like Silent Hill. It's like every year we're getting a new Silent Hill fan, and you may get franchise fatigue of just like same old stuff every time.
exactly, don't bloat it, like, I like the direction, but just don't give it blow. Like, what I liked about Resident Evil is they're throwing in the remakes and they throw in DLC. DLC is a great way to extend the life of a game without making a whole
Yeah,
new game.
for sure.
Silent Hill, I know they got the Bloober Team remake of 1, so that's good. Um, with Townfall, when I saw the transmission, I liked how they said they gave the developers extra time to make sure they don't fuck it up. So,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's good because a developer like was a very specific that developer that's making Townfall was a very specific choice
mm,
and a very small team. That's a big Can you imagine being a small video game studio and Konami knocking on your door like, "Hey, you want to make a Silent Hill game for us?" And just like obviously what the lead developer is like, I played Silent Hill like all the time when I was a kid growing up, and now here I am making a Silent Hill game. It's
I'm
got to be
excited for them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm excited for them just on that front to be like, you finally get to work on like literally your dream game or something like that. Like it's
Yes. I
whereas
don't
like Capcom is keeping a little bit more like close to the belt. Like we're keeping all this in house, you know.
yeah. I mean, I don't know the history behind why and how Konami went to other developers to work on the not as successful Silent Hill games, but at least based on what I learned about this current developer, and I forgot their name and I feel really bad.
Screen burn.
Screenburn.
I was trying to think and
It's like you
earlier.
said, like it's at least very intentional, right? The
Yeah.
the developers are fans of the franchise
Hmm.
and they live in the area where the game is taking place. So they have the knowledge. They definitely have the concept of the fog.
Yes.
So I just feel like because of those factors, I definitely am confident. I am more on the confident side that Townfall will be a good game.
Yeah. I am too. I think just even like listening to the developer commentaries,
Hmm.
hearing what they want out of the game, and even just seeing the trailer and the gameplay, I'm like, I'm in. You know, and especially one of the defining things of the Silent Hill universe is like the radio, whereas
Yes.
now it's like kind of like a small CRT TV. I'm like, that's a really cool concept. Is
Yeah.
like taking the familiar and doing something a little bit different and
A
doing
little
it
bit.
kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, giving your own personal flair to it. I'm
Mhm.
definitely here for it. I'm excited for Townfall. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they
Yeah.
can pull off with this. You know,
And then I appreciate the fresh perspective. Like when they were talking about first person, which I'm terrified about, but they have like
yeah.
a peeking mechanic, which doesn't sound very new and groundbreaking, but it's new for this this franchise. And
Hmm.
they're like, well, this adds to the scope of the like they're explaining why they're doing things.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And like I said, I don't know. Like obviously the purists of me are just like it's got to be in third person because that's how it's always been. But you know, you got to give the franchise room to kind of grow, experiment. You know, um, finding out Resident Evil 7 was in first person, it took me a while to adjust to that.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
I'm
I
not
was
looking
like,
forward to first person either, but I'm like, "Oh, it
yeah,
looks so good otherwise."
yeah,
So
I know. And um it was tough for me because I was like, I just grew up playing Resident Evil and I was like, everything is third person, you
yeah,
know. Everything is. It's just to me that's what identified the franchise to me. But it's like, well, I mean, it's at some point change has to happen.
exactly.
So, and obviously for Resident Evil 7's sake, it worked out. I
Yep.
still can't bring myself to play it in VR, but maybe I will.
That I will tell you will never happen.
Yeah,
Never
I don't,
for
I
me.
don't blame, I don't blame you on that. But um, yeah, I think um, we're gonna see more retconning with Resident Evil,
Okay.
the
Mhm.
franchise. Um, I don't think we're gonna get a lot of like crazy offshoots. I think we're just gonna get remakes. Um, like I said, I know Code Veronica is the big rumor, like the pretty big rumor. I think people are toying with the idea of Resident Evil 5 remake, but which I mean, I don't think you need to remake that one, but if their concept is to change the lore and change the canon,
Mhm, they
then
might
I guess
wanna yeah.
yeah, then I guess that's what they're aiming to do. So,
Do you
um
think Capcom will want to continue for their mainline games the mix between pure survival horror and action, or do you think this was kind of a, I don't know, a one-off?
I don't know. I think it's interesting because with Requiem we got two games in one almost.
Mhm, yeah.
Grace's campaign played so much different than Leon's campaign. But of course, everybody online is talking about how great Leon's campaign is. So I'm kind of
Mm,
scared that the developers of Capcom are like, well, let's give people more of this.
mhm.
Whereas like I'm here for the Grace stuff. Like I love Leon's campaign, don't get me wrong, but I want more of that Grace gameplay.
Yeah, as much as I love Leon, I had a blast, I don't know if I'd be as satisfied if that was the whole game.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really grateful we got a lot of Grace content.
Yeah.
So, yeah, any closing thoughts? Any final things to say? Remember when I
No.
started this episode and be like, this is gonna be a short episode.
Right? Right? But you know what? I am like, I don't know, it felt the time flew by,
It
I
really
was very
did.
engaged. No, just the fact that, like, this is a very great time for both Resident Evil and Silent Hill, fans, or quote unquote fans. We're not talking about the ones that think Silent Hill should only be a place. Um, I
Or
don't know, there's just
every Silent Hill should be like Silent Hill 2, basically.
exactly. I in general, I'm just excited. I'm really looking forward to Requiem DLC, Townfall, and just seeing where things go.
I am too. And like I said, um it kind of harkens me back to just don't, you know, I don't know, don't have these preconceived notions because I remember like when it was announced that Bloober Team was making Silent Hill 2 remake, there was a lot of discourse of like
There was,
there was like these guys don't know what they're doing,
yeah, they're a small
this
studio,
we're
blah
a
blah
small
blah.
studio. The games that they made weren't necessarily the greatest. Even some of the preliminary trailers, they were like, "Ah, this doesn't look great." Like a lot of people were shitting on Bluebird Team. And can you imagine? Like, I imagine you got to stay off social media while you're making this game because like the discourse was loud.
Yeah,
It was loud. But for me, I'm like, let them cook. you know, um,
yeah, it's
I
tough.
feel I feel like it's like you want to you want to stay hopeful for it, but you also want to temper your expectations. And of course, Silent Hill 2 remake comes out, blows
Hmm.
everybody's minds,
Yep,
and everyone's like a believer again. Like, and Bloober Team nailed it,
they
100% nailed it.
absolutely did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I bet you they breathed a sigh of relief afterwards, like watching those reviews and
Oh, for
hearing people
sure.
praise their game. They're like, "Oh, thank God."
I feel I just don't think being a game developer, a studio is really as fun as maybe we all think it is because you have to listen to the extremely loud internet. Seriously, like, people, like, stay,
It's a small minority.
but they're loud.
They're loud.
It's loud.
Yeah. It's really obnoxious, and I feel for them, in a
Yeah.
lot of these cases. Even, like, with the live service junk that's, like, hitting the market and then just closing right away.
Yeah.
It's like, it kinda sucks to work on something for 2 years and only for it to just be thrown away, because no one likes the genre anymore.
Yeah, a little fickle, and the industry and whoever controls these things. It sucks to be the developer themselves that actually put in a lot of time, hopefully passion, unless they're forced to do something they don't want to do.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. So, well, that about wraps it up for this episode. So, definitely let us know in the YouTube comments, I guess, or if you listen to this on Spotify, it's got comments in there too. Let us know what your favorite franchise is. You're either a Silent Hill fan or a Resident Evil fan. I don't think you can be both, but maybe you can. I don't know. So, Steph, you can catch a lot of her content on the bossrush.net website. She's got a lot of articles up there that you can read and check out. So, I'm debating reaching out to David and getting back into it again. So maybe
ooh,
you may see
doggy.
some. You see a lot of my old stuff on the website. It's still up there, obviously, but
Like games are not art that I always see top the charts every few months. I'm telling you, man.
I know, no kidding. Once I actually, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned this now. That and we could talk off episode about what I want to say, but 'cause we got to end this episode. But thanks for listening, guys.
Yes. Bye-bye.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are
Adriel Munger, Francisco Santillan, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., and Fitzpatrick.
Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.